Welcome, everybody.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, Grace, Robert, Copycat. I love owls. Uh, Autumn Leaf. Oh, Vester. Hey, Vester, how's it going? Be charming. Yeah, I'm not sure how long to be on today. Oh, got a spam call already. Not sure how long I'm going to be on today because my back is aching something bad. And sitting in this chair doesn't help it. Oh,
bad.
but I want to touch on one thing before we get started too much because evidently maybe I didn't explain it or anything, but one of the vehicles that I have in my yard belongs to my son, meaning it's in his name. I cannot get plates for it. I cannot sell it. I cannot junk it because it's not in my name. And that's the whole issue. And he's overseas deployed. And when he's not deployed, he's stationed over in Germany. And it costs a lot of money for him to come back to the United States for visits and whatnot. Even though he can get it because it's just not him. It's his. He has to bring his family with him. So, and that's the whole issue. Is I have a car in my yard that's not in my name or registered or anything. And the city has a policy that if a car cannot go 6 feet in its own power, then it's deemed they don't like it. They don't like junk cars being in the city limits, evidently. Something like that. But they don't enforce it unless somebody complains about it. So that's where I'm at in that one. And the other vehicle was in my daughter's name. They were saving up to get it fixed and then to resell it so they could get another vehicle. Well, they didn't have the money, so they transferred it over to my name. I went and got a battery and started working on it, and I've already got it running and everything. But I'm still going to have issues with because it's unregistered, which I can get plates for it, but that's more money that I don't want to be spending on another vehicle that I'm not going to be driving.
And inevitably, that's what it boils down to with them, because if they're not collecting revenue on it, then they don't want it just sitting there, which sucks. But
yeah. And the thing is, it just in this block alone, you go up and down the road, there's at least 15 cars that have been sitting there longer than my vehicles.
it's because you got rabbits in a garden.
I'm waiting for the rabbits to get reported onto, but they can't do anything because I've measured and I've went through all the loopholes and all that stuff. That way I can keep them.
That's crazy that they would even bother the average person with on stuff like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
You cannot call a junkyard to come get a car that you don't own. When you go to junk a car, you have to sign the title over to them. I cannot sign a title over to them because the title's not in my name.
yeah, That makes sense. Keep people from just, I guess, stealing somebody's car and get a couple
Yeah, because
bucks. Yeah.
you could go down the road and say, "Oh, this car is not mine. Can you come get it?" And then somebody go out to start their car and it's gone.
Yeah.
Because that's technically stealing if it's not in your name. But if I can get a hold of the guy that's in charge of it, the title company looked up the law and everything, which they were really nice. They had people in line and everything, and the one lady was still helping me and everything, and got my number, called me and everything, was telling me that, well, we looked up the law, the state law and the county law, and found out that if you just want to get rid of the car so you don't have to deal with it anymore, just say it's an abandoned vehicle. And that the sheriff department will file paperwork that it's abandoned, and then junkyard can come pick it up. I don't get no money for it, or my son doesn't get any money for it, but at least we're not going to be being charged a fee at an impound lot every day it's there. And and I told him, I said, it's a shame that somebody that serves in the military can't leave his vehicle at his parents' house until he gets out without having to deal with that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. I did have one thing that I came across, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It's about Lincoln. Some of the things that's our 16th president. There's about 18,000 books that have been written on Lincoln, and this article they came out with 10 things that you normally don't know about, and one of them was he had size 14 shoes.
Wow.
And in those days, that was extremely rare. So it was really hard for him to be comfortable in his shoes because, yeah, they just don't make that big of a shoe back then. And
I
most
know
of
his
the time,
pain. I wear a size 16.
yeah. And most of the time, it was all leather back then. And could you imagine trying to get comfortable in a leather shoe?
Man, it would be rough on your feet for sure.
And Lincoln was the first bearded president.
Hmm.
Everybody before him was clean shaved.
Yeah,
And another one was Lincoln was the only president to hold a patent.
really.
Yeah, because he worked on the riverboats and whatnot, and he invented this thing to where you could pick them up and move them more easily. You know,
Yeah.
when the water was low and stuff. And he got a patent for the invention that he came up with.
Huh. Did not know that.
Yeah, and Lincoln spoke with a very high pitched voice.
Really?
Yeah, he
That would
didn't
be
look like
surprising.
He doesn't look like it. Would you know?
No, it seemed like he would have an old mountain man voice, you know?
Yeah,
Huh.
and he was one of the only presidents that actually in the summertime he went out and worked. He went and built his summer cottage and did all kinds of that kind of stuff and
Oh, I bet.
worked in the fields and whatnot.
That's what he grew up doing.
Hmm. And another one was that famous,
Oh,
top hat of his.
yeah.
That's where he stored his papers at.
Really?
He had speeches up in there and all kinds of stuff.
He should have patented the briefcase hat. He would have been you know? But yeah, he is. The hat is iconic, I think. That
Oh
and his
yeah,
beard.
yeah. And there, John Wilkes Booth was at Lincoln's second inaugural.
Huh.
There's actual pictures. They've went back and they've actually found him in the pictures.
Man,
So
that'd be a cool job.
this was being planned for a while, evidently.
Just imagine that's your job. You just go back and look through old archives of photos and stuff like that. That'd be pretty
Hmm.
cool.
B Charming's comment. He can if he's in United States. He's not in the United States. It's already been. We've already went through it. Now, if it would give me, more than a week to get this done, I could have done the um, power of attorney. But you can't do that in a week when somebody's overseas because it's um, I have to mail the documents and he has to get them certified, then he has to mail them back. It's ridiculous, but I just rather have it all, my hands all washed of it and be done with it. What was the other one? Oh, Lincoln was the first president to have cats as pets.
Cats?
Yep. And
Huh.
his two cats that he had, Tabby and Dixie.
Hmm. That's funny. His cat was named Dixie. Especially during that whole time period, you know?
Yeah. Hey, Eric.
Hey,
Good to see you, Eric.
what's happening?
And Lincoln was inducted to the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yep. He was the wrestling champion at the age of 21. He
Wow.
continued to wrestle and pursue his law. According to some reports, he won over 300 bouts in 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't want to grab a hold of him, that's for sure.
What was he, 6'2"? Skinny as could be. I bet you it was really hard to wrestle him.
Put you in a figure four.
Yeah, because the average height was probably 5'2", 5'4" at that time.
Yeah, easy. Over 6 foot was very unheard. It's even unheard of now, the percentage, but then, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. wonder where he got his height from. Can't think of another president that had a beard.
Oh, he's 6'4", actually. Yeah.
Oh, 6'4", yeah.
Yeah. And he's still the tallest president out of all the presidents.
I should run for president. I could break the record.
I
I can't promise anything else, but I will promise that I'll break the record.
James Madison holds the record for the shortest president at 5'4".
Wow.
Little short guy.
Yeah, mighty Madison.
I'll take any of them compared to what we got now. So
take Lincoln. He was a wrestling world champion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He didn't take no crap.
Mm.
And there was another one on here that I was reading. They found recipes 3,700 years old.
Oh.
Meat stew and some other things I thought was really cool. What life for president?
Man, yeah, that'd be interesting to if you could actually have a recipe from that long ago. Man.
Yeah.
You had to cook with what spices or what you had available.
Mm-hmm. Well, their spices probably just, stuff that was upside the hill or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the recipes, and this is from like Iraq and that area, because that's the oldest time was back in there. There's Babylonian collection of recipes, and somebody, I think in the 1940s, somebody actually made a cookbook of those recipes.
Hmm.
And you know how you get these, scientists or archaeologists or whatever, and they'll start, oh, that doesn't mean that, and it was tied up for centuries. People were fighting over what a certain word meant, as in it could have been meat broth or vegetable broth or something like that.
But at that point, so many hundreds of generations later, who would really know on certain things like that? I mean, you think of
they had placards where it was carved into stone. That's how old it was. The recipes were on that.
But you'd have to find somebody that knew the language.
They this word doesn't mean that, it means this word. And that's where all the fighting got, just over the what the meaning of the word was.
Yeah.
I bet you they had spam back then, though. You know that.
Well.
Oh yeah. Spam and wine.
But one of them was a they would cook meat one day or 1 week or whatever it was, and then they would save the broth and they would make the stew out of that broth, and they would add turnips and potatoes and things like that in there. And most of it wasn't like from a garden or anything. These were wild roots and stuff like that. That's I think that's where they were having a lot of issues with. Well, they didn't have gardens back then or something. I don't know what they were fighting over, but yeah.
More
It's
in
hard to
tune with
say.
nature.
Yeah.
They knew what to naturally eat and what not to eat, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to go to a Kroger or a Walmart, there was no even inclination of that, you know.
Mm-mm. And that, well, if you get into the cities, there were, people selling stuff, but
Yeah,
if you didn't have a way to make money, you weren't buying that stuff. You had to go out and get it yourself.
yeah.
Find it, the roots in the forest or something.
Especially if you had any type of animal or livestock, man, that would be, ooh,
Yeah. Um,
just imagine how the chickens and the cows would have looked 3,000 years ago, you know.
oh yeah, little bitty things compared to what they're
Yeah,
mixed breeded into now. Because you remember um, when they started bringing cattle over from other countries and stuff.
yeah,
Certain breeds didn't make it, and they had to breed them with other types and stuff, and they came out with the longhorn. It could just survive out in the
yeah.
pretty much almost desert conditions, and they could survive going from Texas all the way up to Montana area. And then that's when another breed, they started breeding another breed to survive the winter times. But I would rather have those kind of cows compared to some of the scientific ones that they make now, where they splice the DNA together. Like in Ohio, they've got this salmon place that they're opening up where they combine a bunch of different. I think it's 3 different species. One's a salmon, and one's like a carp, and something else. I forget what it was, but to make a new fish, and the meat is salmon, but it resembles another fish, but it's a fatter fish and everything.
Have you ever heard of the wild horses of St. Simon's Island, Georgia?
No, I don't think so.
It's a particular breed of horse. It's a beautiful horse. I think the first documentation of these horses was by the Spaniards in the early 1700s, and they reported thousands of these wild horses just running around. Even a particular breed of mule. Um, Over time, and especially during the Civil War, a bunch of was bought and sold off. Uh, the Carnegie family. I know you've heard of the Carnegies.
Yeah.
They bought the island many years ago, and they got as many of the original horses as they could. And I think now there's less than 100 out there left.
Huh. Surprised
But,
that there's 100.
yeah. And who's to state? Supposedly, since then, I mean, there's been no outside like veterinary interference or anything like that. They just, they you can still go see the horses now. They run free, but things change. When the Spaniards first got there and seen thousands of these horses, and it just blew their mind on this island.
Yeah. George Washington, you know, when you talk about George Washington, what's something famous you know about him?
He slept everywhere.
It's
Uh,
usually first
He had
president
wooden teeth.
yeah, the wooden
and wooden
teeth,
teeth,
first president.
but believe it or not, he was one of the biggest whiskey makers in the country.
Hmm.
I would love to have a bottle of his whiskey, though. That'd be worth some money.
Oh man, yeah, a bottle of George Washington proof. Oh man,
Yeah, George Washington Distillery in that's in Mount Vernon. I don't know if it's what Mount Vernon it is because Ohio has a Mount Vernon, but I don't know if it's the same Mount Vernon.
somebody would pay you millions for that.
Oh yeah,
Be like a Picasso.
he produced 11,000 gallons of liquor.
Oh, that's a lot for back then.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. Mm.
Eisenhower. Uh, uh, he retired to his small farm, and it was right next to the battlefield in Gettysburg in Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And what else is he famous for? His farewell speech.
Um,
His farewell speech.
oh yeah.
What he said he was most afraid of was the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
He saw it coming.
Yeah, and he raised Angus cattle and was a pretty good artist. He painted portraits and stuff. Get out of here, B.
Say John Tyler the fifth. What was he the 10th president? He fathered the most children of any president. He had 15 kids.
Woo!
Wow.
No wonder he had time to
Wait.
run the country.
I'm sure someone was close second or more. They did.
And yeah,
I mean, Ben
uh,
Franklin was all over the place.
documented, undocumented. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on Nixon, but can't really talk too much about. And there's Carter. He did more for the country after he was president than it.
Billy Beer. You know, I still got a can of that in my garage.
Oh, really?
One can, unopened. Yep. I got it at a garage sale years ago.
It's actually Mount. Oh, okay, Virginia. Okay, that's why I figured. I didn't think it was going to be Ohio because, yeah, I don't think Ohio was a thing yet. And I think probably pretty much every state in the East has Mount Vernon.
yeah. There's a few references around here I could think of.
Yeah, it's weird that, you know, some states have the same cities.
It's like every city in Georgia's got a street with the name Pete, the word peach in it.
Peach.
Yeah. The Peach Tree Street or Peach Blossom Avenue. It's just How they do it?
Yeah, I used to get people tell me. I used to live in Phoenix, Oregon. And you mean Phoenix, Arizona? No, Phoenix, Oregon. There's no such thing. And they'd look it up. And, oh, I guess there is. It's like Paris, Texas, and
Yeah.
I think there's a few Parises though. Uh, I don't know if it's in Texas or Tennessee. Um, the whole town is. I don't know if the town is called Gotham or they just do all Superman stuff. I mean, every store you go to, there's Superman this and Superman that. And the restaurants are named after that kind of stuff. I can't, yeah. I remember a YouTuber going and they were going to the stores and the restaurants and even the Circle K and had references as Superman or somebody in that.
And do you know there is a place, I just looked it up, well, it popped up actually, Lick Skillet, Alabama. and it's spelled just how you think it was spelled, Lick Skillet, Alabama.
That's as good as Limp
I wonder
Bizkit.
what does it say why or who came up with the name? Sometimes
There's another.
stories are really interesting where they come up with them names.
I also say there's a Lizard Lick, North Carolina.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't know if that's in reference to the show. Remember the show?
Yeah.
The Repo show? That might have been something different.
Yeah. It might be named after that.
Oh.
I ain't seen that in a long time or heard about the guy or in his wife. I wonder if they're still together. But it got to where that stuff it was way too staged after a while. It seemed like the first or second season could have been, somebody getting their stuff repoed and stuff, but then
definitely after season 2 it just got put
they were
on,
coming in the office and
busting windows, bats with nails in it. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? These people are coming in full Mad Max style.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny though, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, they're still together? Huh. He's probably scared of her. I would be. I think she was meaner than he was. I forget who that was. His helper, Bobby. Was it Bobby?
Always, yeah, Bobby, yeah. I think Bobby, yeah. Get him, Bobby. Hook the truck up, Bobby. Let's go, Bobby. Oh.
Yeah, that's the same thing with the Swamp People. The first couple seasons were really good, and then it just seemed like they were making up stuff to make it.
Yeah.
and they just leave it alone. You know, why do they have to make it more than something that it is?
Well, the network's got to add drama so the ratings go up.
Yeah, it's funny, and yeah, think, wow, you really got to juice up the fact that these guys is out here wrestling alligators for a living. just let them go at it like Steve Irwin.
Yeah, and some of them 22s that they use, well, I'm not saying all of them, but there were a few on there that I thought, how are they still working? Because they looked like they had more rust on them than anything.
Yeah.
The stalks were all corroded away, and I'm like, how's that thing working?
So one guy, I can't remember his name, he did that whole ordeal, and then he also was on the other show where they would go out and find logs, like those big driftwood logs that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
I said, man, that looked...
Was that Troy?
Troy, yeah, I think it was Troy, yeah.
Because he's got his face planted on a box of CCI LRs. So he's making the money.
It used to be I think it was called.
No, I don't think it was Troy. No,
like that.
Well,
they were from Tennessee or Kentucky area.
And
they would go out. They were, go out ginsenging and do different things to make money, and that was one of the things. They made this little boat, and to go down in this lake and get them logs. He would go under the water and tie a rope on them and stuff. He made this goggles and stuff out of a Gatorade jug. And the guy up top was cranking the thing to get him air down there, and all of a sudden he's like, come up the top because he got excited and was cranking it too much, and it blew his mask off.
The log guy I was thinking about, his name was Shelby.
Okay. Shelby. Yeah, I remember that name.
Yeah.
I thought that the one
Swamp
series
log,
on
that was
where they were hunting shrooms. That was, and they'd bring their shrooms to these little wood huts, and there'd be a guy in there sitting on 15, 20 large, just sitting there, cash, paying these people for their shrooms. Like, dang, I'm in the wrong line of work.
Oh yeah, that truffles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was a show about that too. And one show I thought was very, very cool that I'm surprised it didn't last but a couple seasons was that the Barter Kings. I think it was the Barter Kings.
Barter Kings, yeah. I remember that.
They would start off with one little thing, and then they would trade it to somebody else, and then
guy started out with a pencil sharpener and traded all the way up to a Lamborghini or something like that. I was like, whoa.
Well, I knew this girl on YouTube that did something like this. It was started, and she was working her way to something. I forget what it was, but she surpassed that and kept on going with the channel because she was making more money on YouTube than trading this stuff up.
Remember Storage Wars?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I thought it was they're replaying it. I see it.
Yeah, they still got it in circulation. Yeah, I've still seen it pop up too. I remember I used to go with my granddad as a kid. That was one of the things he did. Him and his buddy, they'd go buy units.
Yeah.
But it was a lot different then, just holding up your hand. Wasn't no speaking or hollering or none of that stuff.
Oh no. I did that in Phoenix. Well, when I first did it, I went there and kind of learned how it was, and I would load trucks up and get paid for loading the units up and everything. And then I said, well, I can do this. So I went one week and did it myself, and I ended up taking the stuff to the flea market and like tripling my money.
Yeah. Only thing with them type of deals is when the ones where you go to and you just got to like, was it like a silent bid? You write your bid down or something.
Yeah.
You don't know if you were paid over way too much, or you might have paid another $20 and got the whole lot or something. You don't know.
Yeah. And there's ones that you don't get to look at.
Yeah, unseen.
And then as soon as you pay your money, here's the key, and you open it up, and there's a box,
A box and a
old
mop.
newspapers or something in there.
Oh
But,
man.
yeah, that was on the show too. That somebody bought one, and it was just a bunch of old newspapers, and he got upset, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, that's Elvis on there, and it was a bunch of Elvis newspapers.
Yeah, definitely worth something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some of the history stuff is the part I liked about it.
I think my favorite show as far as those type of shows go, remember Pickers? Where the two guys would go out in the van and just would buy antiques and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, you get to see all type of stuff.
And that's another thing. It was probably true at the
Beginning.
first couple seasons.
Yeah.
And then it was all staged.
Commercialized, yeah.
Yeah. I think that the one guy died, didn't he?
No, they pushed him out. There was a lot of claims about booze and this and that.
Yeah, it was alcoholic and this and that. And
yeah, okay.
They're just turned into a bunch of drama queens. It's kind of
the bearded one.
Yeah, short guy.
Okay. Yeah.
What's her name?
Mike Wilkins, Frank Fritz.
She used to be a friend of mine on Facebook. When I did
the burlesque dancer.
I remember her name.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Cat?
No, Cat worked at a tattoo shop. What is her name?
Can't remember. Once you say it, I'll know it.
Wait.
Is it no, Darlene? No. She always used to call them when they were driving in the van with some.
Was it Danielle?
That's it, Danielle.
That's what everybody's saying in chat. Yeah. Okay.
Danielle, that was her name, Danielle. Man, can't think of it.
Another one that I used to have on my friends list on Facebook. John or James or what? Is it John? The bald-headed English guy.
What did he do?
Stamos or something like that.
Bald?
I think it's James Samos.
Did he? Was he
drive the Mercedes and he delivered things in his Mercedes. He had rules and everything. Dang, I can't remember. I think there was like three movies off of it.
He delivered things.
Well, that's in the movie. He delivered packages or people.
You're not talking about the tough guy, are you? With the brush cut, Jason Statham.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know who I was. I was thinking Patrick
I'm
Stewart.
like, wait a minute. He's not bald. He's throwing us a curveball there, bud.
He is bald. He shaved his head bald.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple movies that he lets it grow out, but
The
he's still,
transporter.
Yeah, the
bald at the top.
transporter. Yeah.
His
Yeah,
last movie
yeah.
I saw, and it was excellent. It's called The Beekeeper. That's awesome.
Pretty good one. Never mess with a beekeeper.
Not that type.
Yeah, whenever, because if anybody remembers MySpace,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Facebook, I'll sign up for it, but it's never going to do anything. It's never going to take out Face or MySpace.
Yeah.
And there, MySpace is gone.
You had your your top friend list, you know.
Yeah,
You see who people's top friends were, and I remember MySpace.
and all the girls would have all the glitter stuff going on.
Yeah,
on
the
their,
crazy backgrounds and the music. Yeah.
yeah. I like the music part of it. Because I did get found a lot of people that starting out in music. Oh, dang, who was that now? Oh, I can't remember their name.
You at least had one friend, Tom. Remember Tom?
Yeah.
Who was this guy? What did he really have to do with MySpace? He was just your friend.
Yeah. You'd at least get him as a friend.
Yeah.
I have a friend.
Hey, I know a guy. That's all you got to say. I know a guy.
Is it Tom? Oh, yeah. IRC. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when Game Surge was real big, and I had one that had over 100,000 people in my chat, and certain something happened September the 1st, or the thing. And the servers were hosted there. So it took like 4 years after that before they got Game Surge back up again. Because the guy who owned it he worked in an office that had good internet. I'll put it that way. That he had the servers was hosted in his office up there, and yeah, we all know what happened to that. Oh yeah, ICQ. That's where the slap you in the face with a trout or something like that.
Must have missed that one.
That was one of the things that's the chat lingo when it first came out. That's where it all started at, the LOL and
Yeah.
rolling on the floor and all that. Now look at it.
Yeah.
I can still hear that.
Dial
When you
up.
get a message. Ding. Oh,
You've got
yeah,
mail.
yeah. That was AOL.
Man,
America Online.
yeah, somebody done sent me a message. Never mind, it's just AOL talking to me.
Yeah, if you sit there and think about some of the old chats and things you used to do back then, and look at it now, everything's on a cell phone now.
Yeah.
Back then, you had to hit a button to connect to the internet or to dial to the internet, and that took forever. And then if somebody in that house picked up the phone, it was
Yep.
done. Oh man, I used to hate that. I'd be in the middle of a game and somebody pick up the phone and like I'd be frozen here like this, and I'd come back on and I'd be dead. Yep. I remember everybody was just getting cable, and they were boasting that my download is 1 megabyte, and I'm still on 13 kilobytes download. And like one of the games I play is Arc. It's like 300 gigs. You know how long that would take to download that? That'd be probably a whole year for me to download that now.
Yeah.
Because games were like 1 to 2 megabytes back then. I remember you go to a website and everything was in bits. There was no megabytes. It was all bits. And now they don't even register kilobytes anymore. It's all megabytes or gigs or terabytes. I
Make
remember just some of a hard drive for a 5 megabyte hard drive was like $300 or $400 when it first came out. Yep. Remember Napster? Oh, yep. Yeah, and there, LimeWire and a few others. And then if anybody remembers what the torrent sites were, where it would download bits and pieces from each person that was hosting, so it would go faster.
Yeah. Create like a chain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how old I was. When I was a kid. Somebody got me this thing.
Yep.
It was
Pirate Bay. They still have Pirate Bay too.
basically it was like a virtual reality thing. You put this little headset on with goggles and the thing on your hands and your feet, and it was like you were fighting ninja simulation. So they throw like ninja stars or something at you or chops, and you'd have to do your hand or your foot wherever it was coming from. Man, I played that like a couple times, and I was thinking, man, this is the stupidest thing ever. Nobody's ever going to be doing stuff like this. Then now look, boom,
Yeah.
you got you can be Tony Stark with your goggles and all your devices.
Well, I I used to build websites and stuff, and I still have a web hosting company, not company, but accounts, and um, I got contacted by a company, and the company's name was Google, and saying that they would give me 200 shares if I listed, uh, I put their search engine on my uh, web hosting website. I said,
Wow.
I'm already getting money from Yahoo for this, and there's no way you're going to be beating Yahoo.
Yeah.
I kicked
That's
myself.
before Google was Google, yeah.
Oh man, I messed up big time there. 200 shares of Google. Oh yeah.
Couldn't
Now look at
imagine.
Google.
Just didn't know.
Yeah. Well, and it's like the Facebook. It's like, what? Facebook over MySpace? No way. That's never going to happen.
And that's when that big surge happened.
Yeah. And then,
I think
and
my
Yahoo. Oh man, Yahoo was everything. Yahoo News. They had Yahoo the Mail and everything.
yeah, sports, messenger, everything.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I remember the Messenger. They don't. Do they still have the Messenger?
They should, but they probably don't. I imagine something happened.
There might be 5 people still using it.
Because I think X came out around the same time that Facebook did, not
Was
too
it?
long after. Might have been a couple years, but it wasn't too long after.
Hmm.
I think Facebook was in '07, I believe.
Pirate 101. I don't know. Is it Yahoo Messenger though? Not Facebook Messenger. Because I know no, like if you get Facebook, that now they want you to have Facebook Messenger separate now, which I don't mind because the only thing I use Facebook for now is the marketplace,
Yeah.
because there's so many fake things on for the advertising and stuff on um, Facebook. The AI stuff, it is running, and they were supposed to cut all that stuff out. You know, I seen an ad on there for Biden was talking about um, the Trump stuff, and I'm like, I can tell this is AI. You guys are not even getting close. His mouth is moving, not with his words and everything. Looks like when 101's computer's lagging.
Mm.
And that's all you see. And if the people are talking, it's nothing but hate this and hate that, and like, I don't want to see all this crap. And it used to be good, the groups and stuff, because you could learn stuff on there. And now it's just a bunch of people complaining about somebody else, which is pretty much everywhere now. No,
That's not even fake book no more. It's Meta.
pretty much the same way it is on YouTube.
Yeah. Pulled the Ron Artest. Meta World Peace.
Yeah, very seldom do you see like couples, they actually break up on YouTube, and then they go to their channels and badmouth each other back and forth, and it's to get views because everybody likes that drama, and
Yeah.
they'll eat that stuff up, and it's they go back and forth. Oh, this person said I was this, and then the other person said, oh, they said I was this, and it's back and forth. And I'm like, why?
That's what we got cat litter for. Clean up all the dong up.
The one that would say they can say whatever they want. I'm just going to run my channel the way I was going to do before I met that person. That would be the person I would want to follow, not the one that blah blah this person, blah blah that person.
Yeah. Don't change unless it's for the better.
Mm-hmm. And you see it a lot. You almost expect it. What was there? It was two girls that were a couple and had a van, and they traveled all over and stuff, and they ended up splitting up, and all it was they both had channels, and it was like this one versus that one, and they went from like 1.5 million subscribers to hardly anything anymore, because eventually they get a bunch of views at first, and then people get tired of hearing the same thing over and over again with them fighting, so they stop watching, and then it's like, oh, what do we do now? That's their whole channel was of
Drama.
a split up fighting. Yeah, family members, and usually you don't even look at their. It's usually on Messenger now. You
Yeah.
don't really go to their channel or anything because nobody posts. I think last time I posted on Facebook was maybe 6 years ago. Something like that.
Yeah. Same here.
Now, if something something happened in town today, bad fire, and they blocked off pretty much the downtown area. So I had to drive a long way to go around all this stuff, and didn't know what it was. So I went on Facebook, and it was all over the place. People sneaking in and taking pictures, saying, "Oh, this building was on fire." But it's weird how they blocked off so much of the downtown area, like 4 blocks for one small building, old house. I think there's something else going on, but we won't find out until a couple weeks or something, if they release anything.
They probably say it was a gas leak.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff going on right now. You don't need to see that stuff on YouTube.
No.
I would rather, if I have issues with somebody, I just unsub from them and go away and don't have nothing to do with them. No matter what they say or do, it's way I look at it is God's going to take care of them eventually.
Yeah.
Hey, Nut, how you doing? Don't work too hard. Hard working Nut.
Somebody's got to make the donuts.
Yeah. So grape jams. What was the best dessert yesterday? I'm putting you on the spot. Or you probably like that they clean the kitchen instead.
Oh, I bet there was some good eats and treats for sure.
Oh yeah. I was that mango cake thing looked really good.
That would be
Yeah,
good.
that right there. Yeah, it
Mm.
looked really good. I bet you didn't need much coffee. You was going. Yeah, it looked really good. You have a good day, Peanut. Did you end up with a little baby cow? And yes, I could call it a calf, but I just call it a baby cow. There's somebody else on YouTube that it kind of stuck in my head that when she goes to feed the animals, she does a scream. She goes, "Baby cow, baby cow!" A lot higher pitched than I can go, but and that cow comes running. Yeah, no, she's still slow, but I think she's very close. Oh, it's going to be Bunky's. Okay. Oh boy. I can see Bunky trying to bottle feed that thing. Hopefully you don't have to bottle feed. I don't know. There's some people that say they would rather bottle feed than the mom take care of it. And there's others that said that it's much better for the mother to take care of it. But when you bottle feed, they're glued to you. As soon as you go out to the pasture, they're like right up on you and everything.
Hmm.
Oh, that sounds good. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're doing country tonight, I do believe. Let me look real quick. Live. Yep, classic country music tonight. Oh, did he? Yeah, like I said, there are some people that will swear by, bottle feeding and whatnot. So they're more affectionate and more well behaved, and there's others that say no, they would rather have the mother tend to the baby.
Yeah.
Making garden beds all day. Oh, yeah, I got to get some more planting going probably tomorrow or the next day. Hopefully my back stops hurting by then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I came across this one channel. It's Martin, and it's spelt with a Ijin. Dolard. Um, and this is a popular thing right now. People are going to the mountains in Italy, and they're buying these old homes that are like 200-300-year-old homes, stone homes that, you know, the roof's gone or something like that, and they're buying the property for like $500 to $1,000, and they're moving on to these mountains up there, and they're putting roofs on, and, you know, redoing it, these houses, and making a very, very nice homestead. And he makes his videos are like 3 hours long, but it's for a whole year that he's been there. And I'm on the second year now that he's been there, and he's making um, like the whole mountain is a bunch of slate, so you get real thick pieces of really long flat rocks, and they're making, that's how they do the roofs, because they don't use wood or anything. They use it for the framing and the little things, but it's mainly the stone, and that's how he made his roof. And it was too expensive for him to go get spouting, so he got logs and carved out these um, to make spouting. And he has, you know, solar up there, and he has running water. The place already had water um, that comes from a spring from higher up on the mountain, and um, he has running water, and now he has solar and all kinds of stuff, and it was very, very cool just watching this stuff. And he like at nighttime before he goes to bed, he paints. He goes out and takes pictures of his cabin and stuff like that, the mountains and stuff, and he'll paint them, and he auctions them off. And yeah, like his videos are like 2.8 million views on them and stuff like that. But they're real interesting. They're like 3 hours long. I'll go ahead and drop his link, and then you guys can check it out if you want. Really cool. And he put a garden up there, and it's almost like going back in time, how they used to the Victory Gardens. He
Yeah.
would plant certain things in this small little bed, and everything fit in that bed.
But it's a totally different growing climate.
And you can see the city, and it's probably 300 or 400 miles away, but you're on top of this mountain. It's where the beginning of the Alps, and he'll look. He has this one spot that he goes and has his coffee in the morning. And if he goes in at nighttime, you can see all the lights from the cities and stuff down below, and
Oh wow.
it's just beautiful. I'd just probably sit up there half the day just looking at the scenery. And he said when he first moved there, he would hear the wolves howling, and it would scare him. And he says now that he's been there for a couple years, he enjoys listening to the wolves speak to each other back and forth and stuff. And that's amazing how you can be somebody from the city and you go out into the country or go out into the wilderness, and how the wilderness will change you that way.
Oh yeah.
Is that the guy that does that with his wife?
No,
Renovating their homes.
I haven't seen his. I've only watched the 1 year and year 2 videos. I don't think he has a wife.
Okay.
I think he's Austrian or German or something like that. And this is a going thing right now because it's so cheap.
Right.
Nobody wants this property. And he goes visits other. Um, there used to be little towns on top of these mountains and stuff, and it's all made out of these little flat little slate stone. And he'll go in and look around these places and see how they built things and stuff. And
Right.
and nobody lives there because it's so high up there. Everybody moved to the cities and stuff. And it's I mean some of these places are, I mean, I'd love nothing better to sit up there and just have a garden and stuff. And he just has a few solar panels to charge his batteries and whatnot and keep his computer going. And the first year he shows where he's he builds one thing like an outdoor area to where he takes his showers and baths and whatnot. And then where he had to dig out the pipelines and stuff. And every once in a while he did get a trencher. How he got it up there, I don't know, but he got it up there. Yeah. Probably 20 years ago, I'd be all for it, but I don't know nowadays. It'd probably take you a couple months to get used to the being up that high and working. Because I can just imagine going out there and digging a trench and about 5 swings, you're because you're not used to that altitude.
Less oxygen.
Yeah.
He had like volunteers come up and help him with the roof and stuff because they had to go to another section of land where, because pretty much the whole mountain is full of these slate pieces of rock, and they'd pick up these and put them up behind their back, and they'd walk up this cliffside, carrying these rocks up there until they got to the road where he could haul them back to his house. And I'm like,
That's for young
I,
people.
I don't think I could do that
No,
anymore.
I'm not doing it.
My I would get like one little scrunch and about 3 steps, and my knees would just say,
Yep.
"No."
Mm.
Oh, Carol's, you got tomatoes growing already.
Nice.
Um, I think on my Cherokees, picked my. I think I picked my last flowers off, and that's the third time I've done it. So I think I'm done picking the flowers off. Had to go get more tomatoes because something ate um, my paste tomatoes.
Mm.
I haven't planted them yet because I'm still trying to figure out what it was or if it was birds. I usually have issues with birds taking my young plants in that one bed for some reason. And all it's left is the stems. They took
Hmm.
every bit of leaf off of them.
No.
But my purple Cherokees are doing real good. And they were started late because of a certain cat, wherever you're at. Oh, there he is. Decided he didn't like it where they were up on the shelf.
a,
And I
a certain
tried to
cat.
get him to come back, but they haven't come back yet. So I went ahead and planted more. And they're, I don't know, they're probably about that big, a little bit bigger. Now my jalapeno plants, woo, they went crazy. They're one of them is almost 3 feet tall.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Chris.
Chris.
A box turtle climbed my chain link fence. Wow. That's got to be a sight. Ugh.
Hey, listen, a gator can climb a fence, a box turtle can.
Yeah, I would almost plant him a tomato plant on the other side of the fence so he doesn't have to go over it.
There you
Or
go.
buy a small package of those cherry tomatoes and just throw them out once a day, a couple of them, and then leave your garden alone.
Yeah. This one guy was having issues, and he had a very nice garden. He had corn, you name it. And he was having trouble with the rabbits and deer coming in there and just annihilating his garden. He had a fence on it. They would dig under the fence and jump over the fence until one year he got another at the edge of the woods, and he planted a garden over there. And then he had his garden closer to his house. He didn't have any issues with deer or rabbits or anything coming over to his garden because he planted a garden for them next to the woods. So they didn't need to come get his garden. And since then he plants a garden for the deer and the rabbits and whatnot next to the woods, and he doesn't have any issues anymore. And I thought, hey, that's one way of looking at it. And the thing is, he'll still go back over to that one that's next to the woods, and he'll still get harvest out of it every once in a while.
Hmm.
Corn and tomatoes and stuff that doesn't get ate, he'll go over and harvest that stuff too. But that's a way to look at it. If you have that kind of pest. Oh. But I did see, where was it? Oh, I don't have it up there anymore. Cancel. See if I can find it. Oh, I don't know if I said this the other day or not, but they classified the Coshocton, the town I live in, actually did have a tornado touchdown, which is good because the people who got hit by it get funding, which I really don't understand that part of it, because if a wind tears somebody's roof off, you don't get no help for it. But if a tornado does it, you can get help. It's the same thing. It's still wind.
Yeah.
But they got ways of getting rid of all that, getting out of that stuff. Oh yeah, I already did that one last week. Yeah, I was trying to find this. Yeah, there's a recipe for the stew. 2.5 pounds of venison, wild boar, bear, or elk. 2 large onions. 3 or 4 medium carrots. 3 tablespoons of flour. 2 quarts of beef stock. And 4 cloves of garlic.
Sounds
2
good.
bay leaves. 2 sprigs of thyme. Dark beer or wine. It's optional. Salt and pepper. Butter or bear grease.
Huh.
Wild mushrooms, optional. And that's an old stew recipe.
Hardest part's getting the bear grease.
Well, there's probably, back then there was probably a lot of bears around.
Yeah.
And that's like in the settlement days and whatnot.
Somebody's got to go wrestle them.
And they probably ate that stew for a week. Because when you seen like the old shows, they always had that little bitty bowl that it was a card bowl that they'd eat the stew out of.
Yeah. Totally different serving sizes now.
Yeah. What'd you guys have for dinner?
Let's
I'm
see.
probably
I gotta think about it.
Uh-oh.
I had
Mine's easy. I just had
I went
chili.
out with my brother, so I had leftover chicken bites
Oh,
and what did I have? Chicken bites and coleslaw, homemade slaw. It was enough.
Okay.
what? Did you have tacos?
But, well, don't have tacos per se, but yesterday evening I did make everything that you could concoct a taco with. I grilled some chicken thighs, some and I made some jalapeno poppers. Those
Ooh.
are pretty good. Stuffed them with some cream cheese and a cheddar cheese seasoned blend. And I wrapped them in bacon, put them on the smoker.
Ooh, pigs in a blanket.
Hey, that's always a hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen somebody making cabbage rolls, and I was like, "Oh man, that actually sounds good." So if I actually get my cabbages to grow this year, um, I might actually make some cabbage rolls, or some call it pigs in a blanket. Yeah, gotta get that. Gotta get the food in there. Can buy some beans. That's good. And taters.
It is National Apple Pie Day.
Is it
Oh
really?
boy,
It is.
I believe you. That's bad for me.
Me too. I don't have any.
Me
Oh,
neither.
well, that
Keep it
sounds
that way.
good
Deep
right
fried
there.
shrimp. Oh boy, there you
Oh
go.
yeah.
Hey man, watch out! I'm coming over.
Yeah. Some sautéed onions in there, and some Old Bay, and a little bit of cheese, and smack it.
Yeah,
Sounds
they
good.
don't know what that stuff is up here. It's
And to think that used to be because that was the po man sandwich.
yeah.
Right
Now you got to be rich to eat the poor.
now, it's
poor
like $15.
Yeah. Uh, uh, just for the shrimp.
Right?
yeah, you got cakes to munch on tonight, so I can make you hungry again. Ooh,
Mm,
stuffed cabbage casserole. Ooh, that sounds good.
sounds good.
There's a lot of people who don't like cabbage. I don't know why. I love cabbage.
I love it.
Most of
Raw
the
or
time,
cooked.
just get some bacon grease and fry it up in a skillet. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good all by itself. Yeah. And unfortunately, I mean, nobody does that up here either. I'm like, I don't think it's a Southern thing, but now that I think about it, it just might be. Um, I don't, I don't hear anybody in the North frying up cabbage by cabbage. Ooh,
No, it'd probably be more like I don't know, maybe in a soup or like a cabbage roll, like you were talking about.
yeah.
Um, yeah, in the South, we'll boil it or
Oh,
fry it.
yeah.
Sometimes we boil it then fry it. Makes it even better.
Philly cheesesteaks. Oh,
Oh
Mm-hmm.
man,
yeah. Um, forget what it was. I made a Philly cheesesteak soup, and it was just it was mainly ground beef, but it was the peppers and the onions gave it that um, it tastes
Philly
like
kick.
a Philly, yeah. And I wish I would have, remember how I did it, because I just tossing stuff in there, and I was like, oh, this tastes like a Philly cheesesteak. So I can make this a Philly cheesesteak soup, only if I remember how I did it.
Sounds good.
Jeff wants me to do a fried cabbage and boiled chitlins. Now that's good. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Can't fly.
That's the official dish of Lick Skillet, Alabama.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I watched somebody doing they were first they did the vegetables and some other stuff, and they were putting garlic in there, and they rinsed the it was like a 32-ounce jar of minced garlic, and they were rinsing it out, and they said, I don't want to hear anybody complain, and they said other words, but I don't want to see anybody complaining about that dirty container being in that water. We boil this thing for like hours. There's not going to be any germs from that container in there. And because anytime somebody cooks something, there's somebody that says you did it wrong, and oh, you don't do this or whatnot. And every time she would put something in there, she said, well, these are unclean potatoes, and they was dump the whole bag in there, and these are unclean mushrooms, because people are complaining that they don't clean their food before they put it in and stuff. And they put in like these big old bags of Creo mix. And then the last bit was crayfish, or I call them crawdads, but and they say people complained that the crawfish were not clean, and they said, you see this water, it's clear water. If they weren't clean, you couldn't see the crayfish in there.
You got to purge them.
Yeah, and that's the issue. You get all these people that are experts and never cooked one in their whole life.
It's like at Thanksgiving, that one guy is going to bust out his deep fryer and try to deep fry one. It's always that one guy.
Yeah.
You're talking about the guy that puts the
fills it too hot.
Rock hard frozen bird down in the hot oil?
Oh yeah. That's the guy.
That's what we call a mortar. Boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one in every neighborhood.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's a lot of fires on Thanksgiving because of that.
And a deep fried turkey done right is delicious.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal.
But it seems like it's never fails. Somebody always puts too much oil, and they put the turkey in there, and then it overflows, and then
right. You're supposed to lower it real slow and watch the level, but
yeah,
that requires common sense. So we got to give people a break a little bit.
Yeah. Well, let's fill up with oil and then put the turkey in there. And the thing is, there's lines on there for, well, the normal pots nowadays, they have lines, 15-pound turkey or whatever, to where you fill your oil up to.
If not, you can always do a dry run when your turkey's still frozen. Put it in there and fill it up with water. You'll know about how much you need.
Yep. I think they tell you to do that too, don't they?
If not, I'm contacting Butterball in the morning. Going to get on this. Or the Butterball hotline. Imagine how many calls they get on Thanksgiving or the week of, you know?
I've got a hole in the side of my barn. You're going to get sued. Oh, man.
Yeah, I thought there was directions on there how to do it, but let's watch the YouTuber and do it.
Well, I probably watched about 15 videos. I had to do it before I first did one.
Yeah, we use peanut oil for that. It's good.
Oh yeah, peanut oil is best. I would say sunflower would probably be second for flavor.
Probably would. I never had it like cooked
It's
like
too
that.
expensive now.
Yeah.
I don't even think you can get it.
Are expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think 90% of sunflower oil comes from Russia.
Huh.
So doubtful you'll be getting that.
Oh, boy. Look who showed up. I thought you locked that door. Chat. Monte. What's up, brother?
Old Monty down there.
Hey, Monty.
You still got that big old dog, brother?
I wonder how many sunflowers you would have to even get an ounce of oil, or I don't know.
I don't know.
Imagine it would take a good bit.
Well, sunflowers, I mean, they're huge. You get them
Oh yeah.
fields of those. Ooh. I knew this old lady that would plant sunflowers every year. She would do a big arch in a big circle, and it was around her a little bench, and she would sit there and have her coffee and her tea or whatever. Once those things got up there, that little area was all shaded, and the way she did it to where it stayed in the big old arch, it was a big circle, and it had one spot where you walk in, and she had a chain that goes around them, and then once those started growing, those sunflowers would arch over.
Oh
And
man.
it was the coolest thing. It was a nice shady little gazebo looking thing made out of sunflowers. I thought that was the coolest little idea.
There's a couple of places like that around here. They every year,
Sunflower?
like clockwork, they got a big old field of sunflowers.
Oh, there you go. 20 pounds of raw seed to make a gallon of oil.
Man.
Or it takes an acre to make 100 gallons.
Might be something to look into there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Especially if you had a whole acre you could just dedicate to them, yeah.
I got a horsefly in here.
I know. You've been swatting at that thing all
And you cats, what are you doing? You're being lazy. There's a fly in here. Get him. They just laying on the bed and ain't doing nothing.
They're probably watching it.
They just got they eat at 5 o'clock, so they usually stay in bed for 4 hours after they eat, and then they'll get up and run around or whatnot.
Wonder what 101's up to. It's National Leprechaun Day.
I think Jeff said he's going live tomorrow, which is Tuesdays is once a week on Tuesday. I think that's his day now.
All my leprechaun jokes will be useless tomorrow. It'll be National Fairy Day or something. Won't have the same kick. All right. Get them again next year.
Yeah, it'll be Tuesday next year.
Yeah. Put that in my calendar. It's also Israel. Their Independence Day is being celebrated today through tomorrow.
Oh, is
I
it?
believe.
Oh boy.
Which I hadn't really looked into it, but I hadn't really seen anybody talking about it, which was kind of weird, you know. Seemed like it would be a topic, I guess.
Bubba mentioned something last night about it.
Imagine tomorrow it probably will be.
Because he said he was going to post something. Let's see. Oh, this month going into June is a huge war month for Israel. Oh, evidently there's 2 wars that's supposed to start up. Oh, no, it's a history. 1948, 1967. Yeah, there's a lot of wars that happened this month, I guess. Is what he's getting at.
Oh, yeah.
So that means there's probably going to be something. Oh, I did hear something juicy about, I don't know if it's Biden's niece or daughter or somebody that has been in the news about her diary. Sent a letter to a judge saying some stuff that Biden done.
You know, now that you mention it, I hadn't heard about that story, and it's been a little while since we first was talking about it, and I wonder what happened about that. The whole secret diary thing.
Yeah, they were hushing it up, I guess you would say, in courts and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why she sent a letter to the judge on inappropriate stuff that he did. So I don't know what's going to come out of that, but
nothing.
Probably nothing, since it's a Biden issue.
Right.
If it was anybody else, or I would say, well, anybody on the Republican side, it would be, all over the place.
Come on, man.
Look how many times they impeached Trump, or tried to.
You're supposed to say pause when you finish. You got to say pause. Yeah. Pause is the new period.
Walk stage left. Okay.
Hey, let me go ahead and get the girls here and get their link ready. There you go. And tonight, the girls will be. There's that stupid. And the cats are sitting there looking at it, flying around. They're just sitting there. I'm glad that it's not a mouse. But anyways, the girls are doing classic country tonight, so make sure you head over there. In just about 9 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and end it here because my outro, I still need to speed it up so it doesn't take 2 minutes, but it's some good music. As far as I know, Jeff is going to go live Wednesday unless his they get a storm on Wednesday. And I will try to get back to the schedule of doing it on going back to live on Fridays. I just really was not in the mood Friday to do a live because of all the hoops I was jumping through at the time. By the time I got home, yeah, I didn't want to do no live. But we will see you guys over at the Vineyard Chicks. And let me go ahead and hit the button.
On the way.